Hello everyone and welcome to today's discussion on the topic incompatibility in pharmaceutical formulations. What is incompatibility? Interaction of drug with another drug or a drug with additive or adjuvants in the formulation, dosage errors during prescribing by an RMP or a pharmacist, dosage omissions, all of them fall under incompatibility. Incompatibility may occur in compounding and dispensing of prescriptions. It may also occur during manufacturing, packaging, storage, or administration of drugs. The incompatibility in pharmaceutical formulations while manufacturing or while dispensing or while patient use can be solved through various ways. In case of formulations, it can be solved mainly through two angles. Firstly, through detection or prediction of possible occurrence, and second, the correction, which comprises of preventing or minimizing incompatibility. Based on the type of incompatibility, they are classified as physical incompatibility, chemical incompatibility, and therapeutic incompatibility. Physical incompatibility is mostly due to insolubility, liquefaction, or physical complexation. This may be due to either one inactive ingredient or the property of the active ingredient. It may occur, it can be anticipated during manufacturing or during stability. These are easier to predict, detect, and correct by applying proper techniques, mixing, selection of additives, etc. Because physical incompatibility mostly can be detected through physical appearance only. The other type is chemical incompatibility. The chemical changes which occurs due to interaction of prescribed substances leading to formation of harmful or dangerous product. Now this occurs due to oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis or combination reactions. Generally, chemical incompatibility is observed over a period of time or during the shelf life of the product when a chemical reaction can occur or due to improper packaging, oxidation, reduction or hydrolysis in liquid preparation is anticipated. So chemical incompatibility occurs over a period of time. Therapeutic incompatibility is mainly concerned with prescribing errors and post-administration effect that could include adverse reactions or adverse events. The prescribing errors could be at the hand of registered medical practitioners either due to a dosage omission or spelling mistakes, improper dose, and it could also be post-administration effect, that is adverse reactions due to overdose or underdose. It could also be due to drug-drug and drug-food interaction and the time of administration. Types of physical incompatibility. There are different types of physical incompatibility. First is insolubility. This is the separation of two phases when oil and water are shaken together when we are preparing an emulsion. This can be corrected either by using an emulsifying agent, which helps in wetting and uniform dispersion of one phase in another. This can be added by using an emulsifying agent with typical HLB value. Depending upon the continuous phase, the emulsifying agent is preferred, whether it is water soluble or fat soluble. Gums are insoluble in alcohol, whereas raisins are insoluble in water. So accordingly, while preparing an emulsion, emulsifying agent should be selected accordingly, depending upon the continuous phase or dispersion media. The emulsifying agent is selected. If the continuous phase is water, an emulsifying agent with a higher HLB value with a more solubility in water is preferred. Whereas if the continuous medium is oil, the emulsifying agent with a low HLB value 4 to 5 or 3 to 6 is preferred and they are oil soluble. Insoluble substances like phenacetin, salol, precipitated sulfur, etc. in mixtures required a thickening agent. For example, sodium CMC can be used. Use of any solvent usually resolves this problem. Part can be replaced by water, or generally some part can be replaced by glycerin, propyl glycol, sorbitol, or any other suitable dispersion medium, depending upon the active drug substance which is being used and the desired property that is required, whether it is solubility to be improved or whether it is dispersion to be improved. Now, these are the examples of physical incompatibility. This is one preparation containing terpene hydrate 3 gram, which is to be added to simple syrup 120 ml. Now, terpene hydrate is not soluble in syrup and hence half the vehicle may be replaced with alcohol. Alternate remedy would be to use any suspending agent. Here, the second formula, zinc sulfate 4 gram and sulfurated potash 4 gram, which needs to be added to rose water 60 ml. Again, this is a suspension because active ingredients are insoluble polysulfides formed by reaction of zinc sulfate and sulfurated potash. Here, a suspending agent is to be included in the formula preparation. This is another type of physical incompatibility, that is precipitation. A drug in solution may be precipitated upon addition of a solvent in which it is insoluble. For example, if a pediatric elixir contains alcohol in which paracetamol is dissolved. So paracetamol elixir is dissolved in alcohol. If we go on adding more water, a part of paracetamol will precipitate out. So this is precipitation can be observed in case the solvent is the vehicle in which the drug is not soluble. Mucilaginous and albuminous substances may be precipitated from aqueous substances by addition of alcohol. Because gums are soluble in water but they are insoluble in alcohol. So if we add alcohol or if the preparation formulation contains xanthan gum or other gum acacia, they will get precipitated if we add more of alcohol. Camphor and volatile oils may get salted out of aromatic waters when salts of metal are dissolved in the liquid. Another type of physical incompatibility is the separation of immiscible liquids. A prescription containing ethyl nitrite and substantial amount of potassium citrate will separate out as a separate layer of spirit and float on the surface. Another formula example, chloral hydrate 15 grams, sodium bromide 11.25 gram is to be added to aromatic elixir which is 60 ml. The sodium bromide is responsible for separating an immiscible layer containing chloral, alcoholate, chloral and alcohol. Because chloral hydrate and sodium bromide reacts with each other so as to form chloral alcoholate. In order to obtain a clear solution, the alcoholic strength of the prescription should be above 50% or below 10%. Another type of physical incompatibility is liquefaction. It is also known as eutexia, that is lowering of melting point in the presence of impurities. So there are certain substances which are highly hygroscopic or exhibit eutexia, that is release of water of hydration or absorption of water. Many drugs containing phenol, aldehyde or ketone group possess this activity. Liquefaction at room temperature due to depression of melting point of solid in contact with certain other components is called eutexia. Okay. Eutectic active may be adsorbed on inert diluents. This is the way to solve the incompatibility. For example, if the active substance, example aspirin or for that matter dapagliflozin propanediol or dapagliflozin base, generally the bases are amorphous and they are more prone to, in case the stable form is crystalline form and you have prepared an amorphous form of the drug substance, then they are hygroscopic, they can absorb water and then either they can absorb water or liquefaction at the room temperature can also be absorbed in the presence of impurities. So in these cases, an adsorbent can be added to the formulation because the water can be adsorbed on kaolin, talc, starch, light magnesium carbonate, light magnesium oxide. So these are the ingredients which needs to be added to a formulation in order to overcome this problem of liquefaction. Any two of the following exhibits this type of behavior. Camphor, menthol, phenol, thymol and chloral hydrate, also sodium salicylate with phenazone. So these are the examples which exhibit eutexia. Here is another example. Thymol 250 mg, camphor 2 mg, menthol 2 mg. All these are prone to absorb water and liquefy. Now, if these ingredients are triturated together, they will form an eutectic mixture. So, how to solve the problem? Since the liquid will be formed, the liquid is triturated with enough absorbent powder like light kaolin, light magnesium carbonate to give a free-flowing powder. So, this is an absorbent which is added to the liquid mixture. Other way of preparing this eutectic mixture is each ingredient is triturated separately with small amount of adsorbent or diluent, and then these powders are mixed with each other by tumbling action. Another example, chloral hydrate 250 mg, prepare capsules. Now, this is capsules are hard gelatin capsules. If they absorb water, they become soft. So, it is not desirable. It will not be stable preparation. So, instability marker. And here the prescription asks to prepare 10 capsules. And the capsule need to be taken at the night time. So here chloral hydrate is hygroscopic in nature. It will absorb moisture and soften the hard gelatin capsule shells in which it is encapsulated, and the shape of the capsules may change physically. So as a remedy, an absorbent like light magnesium oxide should be mixed with chloral hydrate, and then the free-flowing powder is then packed or filled inside the capsule shells, and then they are dispensed. Another example, aminopyrine 0.3 gram, acetyl salicylic acid or aspirin 0.2 gram, codeine sulfate 0.015 gram. Acetyl salicylic acid is highly hygroscopic. Belladonna extract 0.010 gram. You have to prepare a capsule containing a mixture of all the above four ingredients. Now, what is the remedy? Light magnesium oxide, approximately 65 mg, can be added. The half the quantity of magnesium oxide will be mixed with aminopyrine and other half with acetyl salicylic acid or aspirin separately. The two mix are then gently mixed with each other by tumbling. After liquefaction, physical complexation is another type of physical incompatibility. Preparations containing carbovax, phenols, salicylic acid or tannic acid are known to show loss in elegance and acceptability due to physical complexation. Their complexation is attributed to hydrogen bonding between hydroxyl groups of active ingredient and ether oxygen of the polyether chain. So now this is complexation which is arising out of the active ingredient having all these functional groups like phenols, salicylic acid, tannic acid. All of them are shown to go into complexation very easily because hydrogen bonding will occur due to the presence of water, hydrogen bonding between hydroxyl groups of the active ingredient and ether oxygen of the polyether chain. Complexation of benzoic acid, salicylic acid, sulfonamides and barbiturates with urea is reported. Now that was the end of examples of physical incompatibility. Let us study what is chemical incompatibility, how many types of chemical incompatibility exists and can be identified and corrected. First is oxidation-reduction reaction. The prescription mixtures are usually oxidized on exposure to air, higher storage temperatures, light, over-dilution, incorrect pH adjustment, or in presence of catalyst. Use of antioxidants such as ascorbic acid. Mainly it is used in iron preparation. You see antioxidants like ascorbic acid is added. Sodium sulfite or sodium metabisulfite is often helpful. They are added to many syrup preparations. Trace metal ion catalysis may be counteracted by adding complexing agents like disodium editate and sodium calcium editate. So these are the complexing agents that can be added. The other type of reaction, chemical incompatibility, that can be observed in pharmaceutical formulation is acid-base reactions. Such reactions result into precipitation, gas formation, color development, or color change. Correction of acid-base incompatibilities require thorough knowledge relating to acid-base strengths and solubilities of the acidic and basic forms of a particular compound in question. That is, pKa value of the drug substance should be known. Accordingly, the inactive ingredient can be selected in order to prepare a stable preparation. Another type of chemical incompatibility is hydrolysis. Many substances hydrolyze in water and their reaction may be facilitated by heat. Heat acts as a catalyst. Hydrogen ions and hydroxyl ions facilitate this particular hydrolysis. Examples of drug having esters, amides, and metals like zinc and iron, etc. are common examples. Phenyl salicylate hydrolysis in basic media to salicylic acid and phenol. Classic example, aspirin also hydrolyzes in basic media to salicylic acid and phenol. Examples of drug substance which undergo hydrolytic decomposition includes procaine, sulfonamides, chlorothiazide, barbituric acid, derivatives, aspirin, some alkaloids, and penicillin. All of them undergo hydrolysis. And not only hydrolysis, it is decomposition also, which means change in the active ingredient, loss of efficacy. Now, a type of chemical incompatibility is also explosive combinations. Certain oxidizing agents are chemically reactive with reducing agents, and some of these combinations may be potentially explosive also. Ingredients in this prescription can be compounded with minimum tumbling. Tumbling the powders on a sheet of paper is also satisfactory. Alternatively, each ingredient is powdered individually and can be dispensed separately with adequate directions to the patient or the user. Racemization is other type of chemical incompatibility. It is the conversion of an optically active form of a drug substance to optically inactive form without a change in chemical constitution, but is usually associated with a reduction of pharmacological activity, because only one form is pharmacologically active. For example, levothyroxine is an L form. Ofloxacin, it's an L form of ofloxacin. Levothyroxine is an L form. Levofloxacin is an L form of ofloxacin antibiotic. So they have different pharmacological activity. So if there is a change in optically active form to optically inactive or a different form, the pharmacological activity varies. They act on different receptors or they might become inactive also. Examples of such substances undergoing racemizations are also adrenaline, ephedrine, norepinephrine, etc. There are certain other changes also which can be grouped under chemical incompatibility only. and they may occur as a result of cementation due to formation of hydrates, for example, plaster of Paris, polymerization, or conversion to new crystal habits. Now, polymerization is observed with certain degrees of polymers, certain class of polymers which are added to any suspension preparations or emulsion preparations. Certain incompatibility may be observed, polymerization will be observed, development of heat or lowering in temperature, polymerization, double decomposition, substitution, addition, all these types of changes which occur in a formulation either immediately during manufacture or during the storage or during the shelf life are also categorized under chemical incompatibility, which can be identified and corrected because accordingly the inactive ingredient can be changed or selected. There are certain precipitate yielding reactions. Okay, so there are two methods to prevent it. Method A, all or most of the vehicles are divided into two portions. Now the vehicle is any liquid preparation, the vehicle is present. So vehicle is divided into two portions. The reactants are dissolved in separate portions of the vehicle. If there are two drugs, so they are dissolved in different portions of the vehicles. One portion is mixed with the other while stirring rapidly. Now this method will generally produce lighter and more diffusible precipitate. So the idea is not to stop precipitation but to prevent settling. So it will be more diffusible precipitate. This is another method of preparing a precipitate yielding preparations. Method 2 or method B. This method is used for bulky indiffusible precipitates. So these certain preparations, the precipitates are bulky and they are indiffusible. In this case, bulky precipitates will be suspended and stabilized by adding thickening agents. The vehicle is divided into two portions. In one portion, one of the reactant is dissolved. The other portion is used to prepare tragacanth mucilage, that is 2 gram per 100 ml. Final preparation. Here it is tragacanth, we can use any other gum. The second reactant is dissolved in tragacanth mucilage. So here we see the vehicle is divided, 100 ml vehicle is divided into 50 ml and 50 ml, two portions. So now in this 50 ml, a reactant A is added. In this 50 ml portion, the reactant along, or whether it is a reactant or maybe without a reactant, tragacanth mucilage is prepared with a vehicle. Here there is this final product and then this is reactant B in mucilage. They are both then mixed together. So here suspending agent like tragacanth has been added. So these for precipitate yielding reactions which are bulky, in that case you need to have a suspending agent. Here they have used a tragacanth mucilage. In method A, no surfactant, no suspending agent was required. So simply if it was a preparation of 100 ml, it was divided into two portions, 50 ml, 50 ml, and each portion different drug or different reactant was added, and then finally the two portions were mixed with each other with stirring. So the precipitates were light and diffusible. Now what will happen in the case when the ingredients are such that they are bulky and they are not diffusible? In those cases, method B can be followed by picking up a right suspending agent or thickening agent. Now pH effect is observed because most of the drugs are either salts of weak acid or weak bases. These salts are usually soluble in water, while free bases are practically insoluble. Consequently, if a solution of salt of weak acid is acidified, the free weak acid may precipitate out. Similarly, if a solution of salt of weak base is made alkaline, the free weak base precipitates out. Okay, so these are the two rules which actually happens. These are the two phenomena. If a salt of weak acid is acidified, free weak acid is precipitated. If a salt of weak base is made alkaline, free base precipitate out in the solution. So whether precipitation occurs or not, it depends upon these three factors: solubility of unionized acid or base, pH of the solution, and the dissociation constant or pKa of the acid or base. Solubility of unionized acid or base. Let us study the first factor. Alkaloids, other weak bases, barbiturates and other weak bases. Salting out effect is observed. Alkaloids are weak bases. They are almost insoluble in water. Being a weak base, they are insoluble in water. Salts of alkaloids are soluble in water. Obviously, salts are soluble, but their bases are insoluble. So, if salts are dispensed with alkaline preparations or substances, then free alkaloid may be precipitated. That is what we studied. If we go on adding alkali to alkaline preparations, solutions of alkaline preparations, it will precipitate out. So, alkaloids, free alkaloid may be precipitated. Now, these alkaline preparations are generally incorporated with alkaloidal salt solutions. Okay, so this is the precaution that is taken. They are generally salt solutions. And these alkaline preparations are aromatic ammonia solution, strong ammonium acetate solution, ammonium bicarbonate and sodium bicarbonate. So these are incorporated to prevent precipitation. However, if alkaloid salts are taken in low concentration, then this problem does not occur, because yes, in low concentration even the free bases are slightly soluble in water. So in case alkaloid concentration is less, the preparation or the formulation contains less quantity of alkaloid in the solution, then this problem may not occur. So this is what people have found previously with trial and error experimentations. So alkaloid preparations of Nux vomica tincture contains an alkaloid, strychnine, and which is highly insoluble in water, that is 1 in 7,000 parts of water is the solubility. So maximum volume, I think percentage of alkaloidal preparation that can be added to alkaline preparation without any precipitation is 10%. So 10% solution is stable. 10% alkaloid can be added to alkaline preparations without any precipitation being observed. In preparations containing morphine hydrochloride solution, now morphine is the alkaloid here. In morphine hydrochloride solution, morphine is the alkaloid. Its solubility is 1 in 5,000 parts. This is also highly insoluble alkaloid. So maximum concentration in percentage that can be used alkaloidal preparation is 2.5% of morphine can be used to prepare alkaline preparations. Beyond this, precipitation can be observed. Another alkaloid preparation is opium tincture that also contains alkaloid, that is morphine. Here it is 1.8%. Camphorated opium tincture. This also contains morphine alkaloid, and however, camphorated opium tincture can be prepared to a strength of 37.5% concentration of alkaloid in alkaline preparation. Here there are certain other co-solvents which are present in the preparation, so that is why solubility is more, and then higher percentage can be incorporated. Chloroform and morphine tincture also contains alkaloid like morphine. 10% solution can be prepared without precipitation. Belladonna, hyoscyamus and strasmonium tinctures contain solaneous alkaloid. Atropine, 1 in 400 is the solubility, and hyoscyamin solubility is 1 in 280. But however, there is no specific percentage, they do not anticipate precipitation. Ipecacuanha tincture, which has an alkaloid like amitrine, and its solubility is 1 in 1000 parts. So here a concentration of 66.67% can be of alkaloid preparation can be added to alkaline preparation. Now cocaine hydrochloride preparations contain cocaine as an alkaloid which is present. So again, very small amount is to be used. Now these were the examples of precipitation of alkaloids, and then they showed that by adding certain substances, it can be stabilized. Basic substances like ammonia solution, it could be stabilized. Not only that, aromatic ammonia solution, they also gave examples of sodium bicarbonate and ammonium bicarbonate. All these ingredients can be added. Not only that, they can prepare up to certain concentration without precipitation. Now, precipitation is also observed in other drugs also. Other organic weak bases of low solubility which may be precipitated under alkaline conditions include local anesthetics, amethocane and cinchocaine, analgesic methadone, barbiturates. Derivatives of barbiturates are almost insoluble in water, but their sodium salts are soluble. So generally all the preparations which has to contain barbiturates will be prepared as sodium salts. Solution of salts are very alkaline and are incompatible with acids, acidic salts, for example ammonium bromide, and acidic syrups, for example lemon syrup. So in presence of these acidic ingredients, the insoluble barbituric acid derivative will precipitate out. This precipitate can neither be redispersed or suspended with thickening agents. So the only remedy is to substitute chemically equivalent amount of corresponding insoluble barbituric acid with sodium derivative, which can be easily suspended with thickening agent. Other weak acids like sulfonamides in unionized form and are weak acids in unionized form, and then their solubility is less. The presence of acid or acidic salts, the unionized form may be precipitated. This is the same condition as we studied. The presence of base or basic salts, the unionized form may be precipitated. So in the presence of acid or acidic salts, the unionized form also may be precipitated. Remedy: sulfonamide salts and the acidic ingredients are dissolved in separate amount of vehicle. With one portion tragacan mucilage is prepared and the other portion is suspended in it. So this is the way to prepare. Suspending agent like tragacan mucilage is added. The vehicle is again divided into two parts. To one part they can add sulfonamide salt, to other part they can add tragacan mucilage, and then one part can be added to other part with stirring. Now this is another concept, pH and pKa, because of which the ionized and unionized form of the drug is present at different pH of the inside the GIT. So depending upon the pH, the ionization varies, and the drugs are mostly absorbed in unionized form unless and until there is certain carrier mediated transport through the membrane. So it is at any given pH at the site of absorption, it is desired to have an equal balance of ionized and unionized form. Ionized form of weakly acid or weakly basic compound is less soluble in water than its ionized form. Unionized form of weakly acid or weakly basic compound is less soluble in water than its ionized form. Yes, to go into a solution, it has to be ionized. As soon as any drug goes into a solution, it becomes ionized. But the absorption happens in unionized form. How much amount of the compound will remain in ionized or unionized state has been explained by Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, which is pH is equal to pKa minus log of acid concentration divided by base concentration. So for example, if the compound is a weak acid and then in water, in the presence of water, weak acid, if it is a weak acid, unionized HA plus water will form. As soon as it goes in water, I told you it ionizes. As soon as anything is made to solubilize in water, it ionizes. So HA will become A minus and hydronium ions H3O plus. Okay, so as soon as it is A minus, it is corresponding base which is ionized. Okay, so Henderson-Hasselbalch equation is actually written as pH is equal to pKa minus log of HA, that is acid unionized, divided by base, that is ionized, A minus concentration. So pH is nothing but pH is equal to pKa minus log of HA, which doesn't have any charge, divided by concentration of A minus, that is concentration of ionized base. Now the square brackets is actually representing the concentration of HA or the acid, unionized acid, and square bracket for A minus is the concentration of A minus. Third type of incompatibility is therapeutic incompatibility, which is due to dosage errors or wrong dosage or dosage forms. Dosage error, dispensing of an overdose of a prescription, constitutes the most serious type of dosage errors. For example, because the dose correction has to be there for renally impaired, hepatic impaired patients, geriatric, pediatric population, the dosage adjustment has to be done. Because all the standard doses are mentioned for a standard body weight of 70 kg and a surface area of 1.73 meter square and an adult population that is 18 to 55 years of age. Below that and above that age, a dosage adjustment is required. Wrong dose or dosage forms, as many drugs have confusingly similar names like digoxin, digitoxin, so there is always a possibility of dispensing the wrong drug by the chemist. Prednisone and prednisolone. Now contraindications. This is in every patient or product information leaflet there is one specific parameter, that is contraindication, which is mentioned categorically in every leaflet for every medicinal preparations. That needs to be studied by the patients, pharmacists. Certain drugs may be contraindicated in a particular disease or when a particular patient is allergic to it. For example, some people are allergic to penicillin. Thus, corticosteroids are contraindicated in patients having peptic ulcer. Now, in this case, patients having peptic ulcer should never be given corticosteroids. Corticosteroids are used as an emergency treatment for many of the therapies. Management of many therapies. For any emergency medications management, corticosteroids are used. So, patients having peptic ulcer, it should be avoided. Morphine, barbiturates and related drugs may be dangerous in severe asthma. So, morphine and barbiturates should never be given in patients having a history of asthma. Ammonium chloride, being a urinary acidifier, would cause deposition of sulfonamide crystals in the kidney. Should not be co-administered. Now, these are certain other examples of therapeutic incompatibility. Synergistic or antagonistic effect is observed. Certain cases it is desired to have a synergistic activity. For example, sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim are actually administered together so as to have the desired synergistic effect. However, there are certain drugs which are antagonistic to each other and should not be prescribed or should be avoided by writing the prescription. Or for that matter, if it is missed out by a registered medical practitioner, it should be pointed out by a pharmacist to the doctor. The prescribing of synergistic or antagonistic drug may be either by deliberate or by mistake. The activity of penicillin derivatives may be prolonged by the use of probenecid, and hence this combination is advantageous therapeutically as well as economically. However, concurrent use of antacid with tetracycline will lead to decreased absorption of tetracycline, so it should be avoided. Example 1, atropine sulfate 6 mg, phenobarbital 360 mg. The prescription says to prepare capsules. 1 capsule to be taken 3 times a day before meals. So this is an incompatibility, therapeutic incompatibility. Let us see how to resolve it. In this prescription, the doses of both atropine sulfate and phenobarbital are 12 times the normal doses. The physician intended for 12 capsules to be dispensed, but he has mistakenly or by mistake, maybe it's an incomplete prescription here because he has not written the right quantities. Hence, before dispensing, the pharmacist should consult the physician again. Okay. This is another, then they have corrected the prescription as atropine sulfate 6 mg, 360 mg. Then make capsules, supply 12 capsules. Okay. One capsule to be taken 3 times a day before meals. Okay. So this is the way of writing, correct way of writing. Another example is strychnine sulfate 20 mg, iron and ammonium citrate 500 mg. Prepare capsules, supply 12 capsules. Now this is prepare capsules, supply 12 capsules. This statement is correct in this prescription, which was not correct in the previous prescription. However, 10 times overdose of strychnine is there than the normal. So the corrected prescription is strychnine sulfate 2 mg, iron and ammonium citrate 500 mg. Prepare capsules, supply 12 capsules. And then one capsule to be taken 3 times a day and after meals. So this is now has to be, if it is missed out by an RMP, registered medical practitioner, has to be notified by a pharmacist. Another example, codeine phosphate 15 mg, ammonium chloride 500 mg. Prepare capsules and supply 24 capsules. Label 2 capsules to be taken every hour for cough. Comment, the USP recommends that the prescribed dose should be taken after every 4 hours and not every hour. Okay, so here the physician should be consulted. Additive and synergistic combinations. There are certain drugs possessing similar pharmacological activity. If these drugs are combined together, they may produce additive or synergistic action. In such case, advice of the physician is necessary. Here in this example, RX is prescription is amphetamine sulfate 20 mg, ephedrine sulfate 50 mg. They are antagonistic to each other, and they have said to prepare a mixture. Both these drugs are sympathetic stimulants, and they are prescribed in the full dose. Now, this will produce additive overdose effect. Okay, so dose of an individual should be reduced. Here, they are not antagonistic to each other. Both of them are acting on the same receptors. That is, they are sympathetic stimulants. Both amphetamine and ephedrine are sympathetic stimulants. So, and both of them are additive to each other. So, overdose is there. Overdose, the formulation is an overdose. Hence, the dosage reduction should be advised. Underdoses is also incompatibility, therapeutic incompatibility. In this type of incompatibility, effect of one drug is lessened or antagonized by the presence of another drug. This can be exemplified by a combination of following types of drugs like stimulants, like nux vomica, strychnine sulfate, caffeine, etc., with sedatives like barbiturates and paraldehyde, etc. They are just antagonistic to each other. Sympathomimetic or adrenergic agents like ephedrine, noradrenaline with sympatholytic drugs like ergotamine. Now, sympathomimetic stimulants like methamphetamine with parasympathetic stimulants like pilocarpine. Another antagonistic effect, purgatives like castor oil, liquid paraffin, etc. with antidiarrheal agents like bismuth carbonates. Okay, acidifiers like dilute hydrochloric acid and alkalizers like sodium bicarbonate and magnesium carbonate. So these are our preparations you can keep in mind. So they can't be dispensed together because they are antagonistic to each other, may reduce the effect of the main therapeutic ingredient or the main active ingredient that is desired. Here is another example of aspirin and Probenecid combination. Aspirin 300 mg, Probenecid 500 mg. 1 capsule a day for gout. Aspirin is an NSAID, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, which is given to reduce pain and swelling in case of gout. Probenecid blocks the active reabsorption of uric acid from the lumen of nephron, but aspirin blocks this action of Probenecid. So both these drugs are antagonistic to each other. It is useless formula. Another is from patient compliance point of view. If it is improper consumption by a patient, in certain prescriptions, some special direction should be given. If the patients are not advised, the drugs may not produce the desired action. Low bioavailability is observed. For example, tetracycline hydrochloride 250 mg, prepare capsules, supply 10 capsules. Take 1 capsule every 6 hourly. Now, it should be advised that tetracycline hydrochloride should not be taken together with milk because calcium present in the milk inactivates the tetracycline, and hence a patient may not get the desired therapeutic effect. So tetracycline antibiotics should not be administered along with antacids, should not be taken along with milk. It reduces the bioavailability of tetracycline antibiotics. So this is the precaution which a patient has to take. In a similar way, warfarin with green leafy vegetables. They should not be taken together. Patient taking warfarin should be advised not to take green leafy vegetables. Contraindicated drugs. Certain drugs should not be given in a particular disease condition. For example, corticosteroids and peptic ulcers. Vasoconstrictors are contraindicated in hypertensive patients. Some drugs should not be given in asthmatic patients like barbiturates or morphines. And people are allergic to penicillin, should not be given. Certain combination of drugs are contraindicated like sulfadiazine, sulfamerazine and ammonium chloride. In this prescription, ammonium chloride is a urinary acidifier and it would cause deposition of crystals of sulfonamide in the kidney. So this prescription should be avoided. They are ammonium chloride and sulfadiazine. They are opposite because ammonium chloride is a urinary acidifier. Will cause precipitation of sulfonamide crystals in the kidney. Now that brings us to the end of the discussion on the topic incompatibility. We studied different types of incompatibility observed in pharmaceutical formulations during preparations, during manufacture, during storage and during dispensing of medications. Based on the different categories of incompatibility observed, they have been categorized into physical incompatibility, which is mainly due to physical properties of drug substance or inactive ingredients that can be easily anticipated, observed, and can be corrected by the revision of the formula or different methods. The second is chemical incompatibility, which could occur over a period of time due to hydrolysis, oxidation, reduction, catalysis, in the presence of moisture, improper packaging, some are prone to degradation in the presence of sunlight. So the adequate packing has to be there, and formula also can be improved. The third type of incompatibility is therapeutic incompatibility, which can occur if proper instructions are not given to the patient, patient compliance is not there, that is certain drug-food interactions occurs, they have to be avoided. Certain drugs are highly potent and they're given in very small amounts. For example, thyroxine, levothyroxine is given in micrograms, so it should be taken empty stomach before any food is taken. Pantoprazole is also advised to be taken on empty stomach. Azithromycin is also advised to be taken on empty stomach. The presence of fat delays the absorptions of many of the drugs, so it is advised that it should be taken half an hour before the food. There are certain drugs which are highly irritant to the gastric mucosa, so they are advised to be taken along with the food in order to reduce the irritation effect. Then there are certain errors like dosage errors which can occur at the side of a registered medical practitioner. While writing the prescription, they might not write it. Their writing might not be legible. Spelling mistakes can be there. So digoxin can be mistaken for digitoxin. Prednisone for prednisolone. Not only that, any prescriptions which contain ingredients, one ingredient is antagonistic to the other, should not be administered. The last example we studied. And then there are certain synergistic effects, that is, two drugs acting on the same receptor producing synergistic effect. Sometimes it is desirable. So a lesser dose can be prescribed. So aspirin and paracetamol, both of them can be prescribed together. They produce a additive effect. So now that brings us to the end of the discussion. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.